Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Six Figure Career Stream. I am your host, AK Khan. Joined today, I have a very special guest. I'm joined by alumni and Marine veteran, Michael Hassan Khan. Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. What about you?
Yeah, I'm doing great, bro. Doing great. I can't complain. How's everything been going?
I've been doing good, man. Just doing my thing.
Nice. That's always good
Yeah,
to hear,
man.
man. That's always good to hear. Now, what I wanted to get into today, we have a very special topic, discussions about life in the Marines, as well as, we've talked and getting out into civ life, civilian life from the military is very different. And sometimes it's really difficult for veterans to kind of adjust into that. Now, you're someone that took our course while you were still in the military, before you had even gotten out. And I kind of want to get your feedback and see, how did you like the course as an alumni?
I like the course a lot, man. It was pretty self-paced, I feel like with my daily work in the Marines, I was in the infantry. So, after work or whenever I had a break, I'd probably do like 10, 15 minutes here and there, study, go through the course, but I'd pick it up whenever I can, and hey, I got through the course. I was on time with everything.
Yeah, no, you did a great job with the course.
Yeah.
And, what I wanted to see is obviously you were incredibly busy, leaving the military, right? Like I remember there'd be times where you are going to the Veteran Affairs office, you're finishing up some of your last couple assignments, but because the fact that the course was self-paced, it was something that was easy for you to be able to do, right?
Yeah, so look, I was still in the military. I had another job. I was a barber. I was in flight school, and I was going through my VA appointments.
Yeah.
And I still had time to finish the course.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're seeing now that people that were in your cohort, they're just now getting jobs, right? Which is amazing to see because it shows that the job market is healing, and two, it shows that it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, but if you genuinely put in the hours and you genuinely dedicate time to it, there is a reward at the end of the day, and that reward is a six-figure career. Now, from your experience, why do you feel like this could be something beneficial to veterans, especially people that are just leaving the military?
All right, so a lot of vets, when they get out, they lose their sense of purpose, or they lose their direction in life. You know what I mean? A lot of vets, they'll end up become cops, which nothing's wrong with that. Security, whatever. Still, we need those jobs. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they don't really have a lot to fall back on. Just depending on their jobs. But majority of the guys I know, they don't have anything to really fall back on. And basically, what I understood about the course, and I still carry on, is the same things that the military taught me, that the Marine Corps taught me. I was able to take my skills and transition it into the civilian world.
Yeah.
So, for example, talking about communication, stakeholder communication, stakeholder management, risk management, data analysis. It was just that stuff that I learned inside the military, and I was able to bring it into the regular civilian world. So,
no, I like to hear that, man, and I'm very happy to hear that this course not only it taught you a skill that you already learned from the military, but it allowed you to apply that skill to a corporate world.
Yeah.
Right, the corporate landscape, because corporate, I'm sure, it's designed very similarly in the military, where there's a hierarchy.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
And in this hierarchy, you have to be the chain of there's a chain of command, and then there's certain communications that need to go out every single day.
Yeah.
Now, for people that may be listening as a veteran, you broke it down perfectly for me the other day in terms of how it looks like from a military perspective, the roles and the jobs and the teams, and then how it looks like from a corporate perspective, right? Would you mind just kind of sharing that a little bit?
Yeah, so the way that I'll break it down is all right, I'm going to start off with the military aspect. So your job is you're basically the bridge between the higher ups and GP or platoon level events.
Yeah.
All right. So, for example, your CO, XO, whether it's battalion, division, regiment, company, they get the orders. And what you are is you're basically like the platoon sergeant, where you receive those orders and you break it down to your squad leaders. Squad leaders in civilian world would be like the development team, or you know, and then the way I see it on the civilian side is you have the CEO, CTO, CEO, COO, whoever, and you're basically that bridge between them and the development team. So yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. And it made me really happy when you broke it down for me in this way, because not only was I able to understand it from a military perspective, like that hierarchy, but the fact that you were able to map it back to the things you learned in the course, and then you're able to apply it in your corporate career, like, it shows that you were able to retain that information and then apply it to the experience that is relevant for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, Michael, I know there is a new initiative you are working on, right? And it's something that we're partnering on together, which is called Vets for Tech.
Yeah.
Right. And the whole purpose of Vets for Tech is helping out our veterans and getting them into high-paying, six-figure functional technology careers, which means there's absolutely no coding involved.
Yeah.
There's no development. And it's really just using the skills that the United States military taught you to exceed in this role. Now, I know it's a campaign that's actually very personal to you, and it's very near and dear to you. Like, for all the veterans out there listening, like, what would you say to them in terms of like pursuing this?
Yeah, I mean, like, a lot of dudes, when it comes to IT, we think, like, I mean, me personally, I'm not tech savvy at all. I know how to set up an email, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I know a couple other things, but nothing crazy. But basically what I'm trying to say is, once when I heard, like, the course, it was, like, you didn't need to learn how to code, didn't need to learn anything, like, super, super crazy. I was like, yo, that sounds interesting. And then while I was going through the course, I was like, wow, this is literally what I do on a normal basis, meaning, like, talking to higher ups, passing word down, making sure my guys are on top of their things, like, on top of their duties. And yeah, man, like, it was it's a really good course for that. When it comes to the aspect of like personal life for veterans, I see a lot of veterans out there. They're very much like you know, they get lost. They don't really have a purpose. They don't know what to do in their life. So a lot of them become cops, security, whatever. There's a lot of homeless vets out there as well. And I feel like for them and for all vets in general, you know, we should definitely try to stand up for each other. And there's a lot of my bad. Yeah. My bad. I lost train of thought.
It's totally fine, man. And I sure everybody knows where you're going with this, right? It's like, keep jobs in America.
Yeah.
And prioritize those that serve the country.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, that's literally what I'm trying to say. You know, I think, like, you know, since you've served, you're willing to put your life on the line, whether you saw combat, didn't see combat, whether you stayed stateside, whether you were overseas. You know, like, you put your name on that dotted line. And I feel like us as Americans, we should be able to repay you in some type of way. Right. And, you know, regardless if you agree, don't agree, at the end of the day, this is our country.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I feel like we should have the utmost respect and look out for each other.
Right.
And, you know, when it comes to, like, personal life, I'm going back to the main point. I remember going through personal life. It's like, you know, you put your life on the line, and why would you want to stay away from your family? Why would you want to stress out about money when you can use everything you learned and bring it into the civilian world and make a good, honest living,
Absolutely.
stress free.
Absolutely. You know, the beauty of these corporate jobs is, as you mentioned, as a vet, you've been away from your family for so many years,
Yeah.
like on duty, on base. You don't really have too much downtime. Like I know, before you got out, I hadn't seen you for years,
Yeah.
right? Because you were stationed out in San Diego,
Yeah.
which is crazy, right? Like the last time I saw you before this was
2019, 2018.
2019, 2018, which is absolutely insane that I'm just now seeing you, right?
Yeah.
And it makes me happy to see you. And the fact that this career allows you an opportunity to stabilize your family life and stabilize yourself, where you don't need to be on duty 24/7. You don't need to put in overtime. You don't need to be away from your family. At maximum, you'd probably be in office 3 days a week, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. But after that, you're home.
Yeah.
You're back with your family.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing about these jobs too. A lot of them, they're like remote. There's also a lot that are hybrid. You know, you have to go into the office X amount of times a week or every
Right.
2 weeks, whatever it is. It's very rare for you to get a job that you have to come in every single day.
Yeah.
Um,
I would say the jobs that ask you to come in 5 days a week are always on the job market. They're always open because no one is applying to those jobs.
Yeah.
Absolutely no one is applying to those jobs because it's like a given now that 5 days a week is like a toxic work culture for corporate America. Like
Yeah.
if you're coming in 5 days a week, I can guarantee you're on the job market because you're looking for something that's either hybrid or fully remote.
Yeah.
Because COVID completely changed the game for the corporate landscape in America.
Yeah. Another point I do want to hit is this type of job is actually, I feel like it would be really good for veterans, like mental health. There's like a really big suicide rate for veterans. We've actually lost more veterans to suicide than we have a war, you know, and that's a sad thing. That could be, you know, like a very big broad of reasonings, but I feel like if you were to able to bring it down, meaning like you're not struggling financially, you're able to see your kids, your wife, your husband, whoever, your significant other, your parents, more often, and you're making good money that's in your pocket, you know, I feel like that would definitely like ease a lot of veterans' minds, you know?
No, and I totally agree with you, man. Because what's life without friends and family,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
honestly. So I 100% agree with you, and obviously I can't speak for that because I'm not a veteran, but I will 100% take your word on that. Like, where if you have your financial needs met and you have your family and emotional support around you, like that rate, I'm sure would drop
Yeah.
by a ton,
Yeah.
right? And the great thing about most IT companies that are hiring for IT positions is that they prefer to hire veterans.
Mhm.
They prefer to go after veterans. Every single job that you've applied to and every single job I've applied to has asked me, am I a veteran? Am I a protected veteran? What is my status with the United States military, right? Every single job. And for those veterans that are putting down, yes, I am a veteran. Yes, I am a protected veteran. I can guarantee you your application moves to the top of the pile.
Yeah, definitely does.
Absolutely, it will move to the top of the pile just because companies have incentives to hire veterans,
Mhm.
right? Like that's out there. And the funny thing is like even in normal like conversation, like a lot of people don't know about this career of product because it's still relatively new.
Mhm.
A lot of people, when they think IT, again, their mind goes back to I gotta code something, I gotta develop something, I gotta test something,
Mhm.
and that's not the case at all.
Mhm.
Right? These jobs, they're functional. And when I keep saying the word functional, I mean that you don't need to know how to code. You don't need to know how to develop. Your main job is to solve problems and manage issues and get a communication across the line.
Yeah.
And that is so in line with something that you've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years in the military, which is why I think it's just such a seamless transition.
Yeah. So like my main like agenda when it comes to Vets for Tech is to try to reach out to as many veterans as possible. Not all of them are going to be interested. But I feel like even if we help, let's say 5% of the population, that's still a very good amount of veterans.
Yeah.
I just want betterment for my people,
Right.
People that were in each other's shoes, and I just want better for them, man.
Right.
It's really what it is.
Right. And the beautiful thing about Vets for Tech is that it is at a heavily coupon rate, because we respect our veterans and because we want to get them into tech, and we want to show them that there's more to life than going back out and being a cop, going into security. Like you said, there's nothing wrong with those jobs. We need those jobs, but once you get out of the military, like, you want to do more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually fought with that idea for a little bit to become a cop, and don't get me wrong, like, it's an honorable job, but I feel like, look, I put my life on the line for what, $20,000-$30,000 a year through the military, which I signed up for. I'm not complaining about it, but let's say a cop gets paid $80,000, $90,000. You still have to work those 40, 50 hours every single week.
Yeah.
And while you're working those 40, 50 hours a week, you're still putting your life on the line.
Right.
Like, people have families at home, and yeah.
Right. Versus an IT job that it's white collar. You're coming into the office maximum 3 days a week, and during those 3 days, you're drinking your coffee, you're logging into your computer, you're chit-chatting, talking to people, and guess what? 4 o'clock, you're headed home.
Yeah.
You're headed home to your family, right? And on top of that, you're getting paid a ridiculous amount of money. You're getting paid at least $90,000 minimum.
Yeah, man. IT and corporate pay.
Yeah, 100% they pay. And again, since you're working in a hierarchy like structure for the past 4 or 5 years in the military, it's so seamless because you're coming into another structured hierarchy. Whereas people that are just trying to break into IT from college and they have no idea how the real world actually works, a lot of times they get confused, and a lot of times they may end up even losing their first few gigs because they just didn't know how to navigate the chain of command.
Yeah.
Right. And that's happened to me a lot of times, right? Where I didn't know how to properly navigate the chain of command. I didn't know, going above your supervisor's head to the reporting manager to showcase your work may not be the best idea versus, keeping your supervisor in the loop at all times. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. That's why Vets for Tech, I think, it's a great initiative that you've started. And I am very excited to see how it comes along.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any closing remarks that you wanted to make around Vets for Tech, or just vets in general, helping them get into tech?
Yeah, man. Like, even if you think about it after this podcast, just give us a call. Like, we'll be willing to work with you. Even if you don't sign up, at least have the information to know. So.
Absolutely. Michael, it was a pleasure. It's always a pleasure seeing you, my man.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, nice seeing you too.
Thank you.
All right.